Island Boy is the title of the song you're hearing coming through on 99 FM. Mango Groove are the brains, and of course the guys making sure that we hear in on their creativity. A very good morning to you. Still with us, it is the crossover, but my favorite part of the show, any other Thursday or any other day of the week when, I know that we're going to have our family from the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy. And today is one of those days where we are powering the future, okay? Where the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy will then unpack, how some of the work its employees actually does. Now, today we are going to be exploring the fascinating world of geochemistry, and our guest is Mr. Shipandeni Abraham, a geochemist at the Ministry. Now, he actually plays a key role by breaking down the chemical makeup of our land and water, and what that means for Namibian, for the environment, our health and future development is basically what this conversation will also entail. Now, think about it as his role that encompasses discovering hidden minerals to helping protect our water from pollution. So, if anything, geochemists are quietly shaping the future of our country. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Yeah, I am excited. Last week we were talking about geomapping. This week we're talking geochemistry. I love this so much because I always feel like I am a student in a lecture. And today you're going to be our lecturer. Maybe just to make things well and easy for everybody tuned in right now. What exactly is geochemistry, and why should the average Namibian even care about it?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time and the opportunity.
Yeah.
I'd like to define geochemistry as it's actually a study of chemical composition in the rocks, in the soil, and also in the water. Okay. So, when you hear of geochemistry and geo and geology, so actually it's geology, which is the entire study of the earth. Okay. But there are a lot of disciplines. Like you were saying, last week there was
geomapping.
Geomapping. Yeah. And then we have geomapping. They deal with mapping the rocks. Geophysics. They look at the subsurface of the earth. And then you have economic geologists. They look at the economical aspect of geology. Okay. And then now you have geochemistry.
You should say then you have us.
Yeah. You have us now, the geochemists. Yeah. So we look at actually the chemical composition that we find in those rocks and in those water or sediments. Yeah. And the idea actually is to look at how those signatures and those composition governed the development of those rocks, and you also look at how the trends direct you to mineralization. Okay. And it's actually important for an average Namibian because we help to guide mineral exploration. Okay. And also we look at the composition of rocks or soil, let me say, at the location where you are. We need to have to be at a place where we have where we have a composition that is acceptable. Okay. Not too much, not too little.
So this is also where the situation of lack and toxicity comes in.
Yes, that's where it comes in.
Right. Now, how do you then collect samples across Namibia? What happens to those rocks, the soil and water, once you bring it back to the lab?
The composition, the sampling actually depends on the type of sample that you're looking at. Okay. You spoke of water, you spoke of rocks, you spoke of soils. Yeah. All those have different procedures on how you sample them. Okay. Maybe just briefly to go through rock samples, you just go up in the mountain with a big hammer, and then you make sure that you get really that fresh rock. So that maybe 5-10 kg hammer, and then you go up and then you sample. With water, actually, you just have your location where you want to go. You scoop water sample, and then you add 1% nitric acid just to neutralize it and keep it fresh for some time. When it comes to soil, and also all these locations, what you do first, you do a desktop study in your office. Okay. You locate your location where you want to go. That's where you use your GPS and you have your attitude. When you go in the field, you just go straight to your location where you want to sample.
Look at the show off. I love it. I love it for us as we get in on this. Now, it's Mr. Abraham, a geochemist at the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy, giving us a little bit into, of course, how, geochemists are quietly shaping the future of our country. But also something I want to get into that we I think you mentioned it a bit earlier, but also highlighting, toxicity and lack. I think this goes with it. You're involved in detecting pollution in the soil and water. Can you share any recent success stories where your work helped prevent or even detect environmental change?
Yeah, from the geochemistry point of view, we find our application across the spectrum of geology.
Okay.
All other geology disciplines, we find ourselves supporting them and giving them results, and then they make a decision on whatever finding we get. Yeah, when it comes to contamination, I can give you a few examples. Number one, we had a project in Berghaus, where there was an old mine. It's an abandoned mine. They used to mine lead, zinc, and vanadium. What happened to that is when you have that old mine, the tailings now, or the waste, that is where the toxicity comes from. And then it can contaminate the environment.
Yes.
They said a youth training center. They used to have agricultural project. They used to plant cabbages, potatoes. But the elevation is too high that it's too toxic for consumption. And even the area where the hostel was, it's actually the elevation is too high than the acceptable levels. So the recommendation was the hostel was relocated to a place which is deemed less contaminated. That's one example.
Right.
I'll give you another one in
Yes,
Tsumeb.
please.
Yeah, in Tsumeb, we have the smelter. We have the old smelter that used to smelt for copper.
Yeah.
And then what happened is this arsenic contamination in Tsumeb. And then there was a sampling project where we look at how the contamination is spread throughout the town. And then we found out that trending toward the northwest, that is where the highest concentration of arsenic is.
This is now the northwest of Tsumeb.
Of Tsumeb, yes. That is where we find a highest concentration of arsenic. And then the recommendation to the town council is to say, redirect your housing development projects to, for example, to the southern part of the town where it's the level is actually acceptable. And also there were agricultural activities going on near the smelter. And near the smelter, that is where there is a lot of arsenic concentration. And for plants, it's actually really it will affect the concentration is too high in such a way that it will affect human consumption when it's get
absorbed into the vegetables, whatever they're planting.
Yeah, so the recommendation was the planting or agricultural activities should be moved away from the smelter. So that is what we've done.
Next time you hear people being relocated from a mine or an area, don't say, we've lived here for 10 years, we don't want our grandparents. They're actually people who are helping us make sure that when it comes to our health as well and what we consume and really looking at the lack and toxicity levels, these are geochemists that play into that role. And I think it's very exciting and also just interesting to hear you say onto some of these aspects because I mean, it's a great thing to see that people are exploring agriculture, but, the aspect of not realizing that there are some areas that are contaminated also then becomes much more exciting because then now this is not a safe place to do that activity. Well, that's Mr. Abraham, a geochemist from the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy, really sharing with us how his work shapes the future of our country. We're going to be back. But this time, when we get back, we're going to be touching base on something I'm really excited about. Now, geochemistry helps discover minerals. But Mr. Abraham is going to break it down as to how geochemists know where to look and what clues to follow on the ground. I'm very sure they do not have a magic wand and they just decide, woo, let's go to Tsumeb. Something's happening there. So he's going to break that down for us and have us understand really what are some of those clues that they follow and what and how leads to a certain geographic place that they decide this is where we need to look at. That is coming up right after this.
The Ministry of Mines and Energy is the cornerstone of Namibia's natural resource management, safeguarding our country's geological, mineral and energy assets. From fueling homes to driving industries, we regulate the entire spectrum of mining and energy sectors, ensuring responsible development from small-scale operations to large-scale enterprises. We prioritize sustainability, balancing economic growth with environmental stewardship to ensure a prosperous future for all Namibians. At the Ministry of Mines and Energy, we go beyond managing resources. We power progress, illuminate opportunities, and secure the future for generations to come. Harnessing our resources, powering our future.
Dora on that one titled Talk to Me, and I've got somebody who's talking to us. That's Mr. Abraham, a geochemist from the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy, sharing in on, that is, his role as geochemist and how that quietly apparently is shaping the future of our country. I don't think it's quietly anymore, but hey, it is one of those. Now, earlier we got to touch base on what geochemistry is, and he nicely broke it down on, the various ways that they actually contribute to assisting and contributing, that is, to other, should I say domains or other parts of the geo side of things, because we have geochemistry, geomapping, something, medical something as well. Guys, I've been in this class. Look at me. But right now, we're also going to touch base on something I really want to. I think I'm also just curious, but so is my listener. So geochemistry helps discover mineral deposits, right? Yes. But how do geochemists actually know where to look, and are there any clues in particular that you follow on the ground?
Yeah, we follow the science.
Okay.
Yes. What you do, you need to have a general understanding of the regional geology, because you just don't go anywhere to look for anything. Okay. So there are places that we know that here we're highly likely to find what, and that is what you look for. Okay. And also the results that we get from rock sampling, from soil sampling or soil samples, that is what guide us on where to go. Because when you have those compositions, you know where the concentrations are. Okay. So it actually give you a heat map to show you where exactly the highest concentration is, and that's what you follow.
I know my listener was like, Mr. Abraham, you said you follow the science. We're hoping you're going to break it down. And I love that you actually broke it down there. In terms of Namibia, I mean, it is known for its natural beauty and resource wealth. How do you see your work contributing to the country's development in the next, say, 5 to 10 years?
Like I think the information that we get, we produce maps.
Okay.
And those maps, they guide us on where what is. And because you need to know rock types, and rock types, specific rock types actually host specific minerals.
Okay.
And that's what you need to understand. That's what you need to follow. And when you have this map sheets, that's what we share with investors, and then they invest into mining activities, and then that is where you go further to say this is what you have, and then you have a mine, the contribution to the economy, mining activities, royalties and taxes from that mine, employment, and also the mine itself being involved in the local economy of the country. So that is our contribution. We give you the information, you look for the minerals, and then you take it from there.
Okay. Yes. Well, that's Mr. Abraham, a geochemist from the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy. Remember, that's how we get to have our future powered by, that is, the ministry every other week. Now, I know, I understand that you guys are apparently silently shaping the future of our country. I beg to differ with what you shared today. I will refuse to say silently. But I also know you are busy people. So I do need to let you go. I know you're also checking time there. It's signs. When people ask us, how do you know that your guest wants to go or they need to go? Those are the cues for us. You know, it's in the body language. But I also understand, I mean, looking at how the rest of your day may look like. Sadly, not quite our favorite part because the conversation's going well. But before we do say goodbye to you, is there anything else that you'd probably want to share?
Yes, I just want to say that geochemistry is that important to an average Namibian.
Okay.
Number one, we give you the information of the area that you are. We make sure that it's inhabitable.
Okay.
And also we look at it also that is in terms of environmental management, because as geologists we're just not concerned about getting the minerals and getting the economical aspect of it. We also look forward to the sustainability of the environment.
Nice.
And as a geochemist, we are the scientists or the experts behind the instruments that actually produce these results. And we are the eye in the dark. We see what people don't see, and we see actually when they don't see it, because these things usually resurface after many years down the line. So what we want to do is to forewarn people before those aspects are surfaced.
The eyes in the dark are the geochemist, not in any way or another should you ever forget that, because guess what? Instead of us waiting for it to happen 10 years from now, geochemists will actually tell you we can avoid it by moving you away from this place to that place. Because guess what? Perhaps the area you are is contaminated with one or two other minerals or something that is, contributing to toxicity or anything of that sort. Mr. Abraham, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
All right. Well, there you have it. Man, I don't like this part of the show because then it means we're saying goodbye to our family from the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy. But, as you may know, next week, same time, same place, back to your news.
Feel good on 99 FM.